Welcome to my channel, Paranoid Tarot. I'm Ren, and today we are going to be looking into what negative energy is after you. Oh, scary, right? But not to worry, I'm not going to leave you hanging. Once we find out that negative energy that's haunting you right now at this moment, we're going to be looking into some oracle cards to figure out who can help you and what you can do to get them to help you. So hopefully we will find a solution here, as well as finding out just what's going on. And hopefully that'll help you get rid of anything bad that's hanging around you right now that you just do not need in your life. All right. I would like you to pick one of the 3 decks here to see which one really resonates with you. And it's all the same deck, but what we're going to be doing is picking a pile based on the stones that are stacked on top of them. All right. So here we have red Jasper. It's a very pretty stone. All right. And what does red Jasper mean? Red Jasper has the ability to create and help balance aggressive dynamic energy. It gives a sense of well-being and a state of calm. It absorbs negative energy. Next, we have the zebra Jasper for pile 2. Let's take a closer look at that. This one I really like because it reminds me of a bird egg. It's just speckled and adorable. Put that right there. All right, the zebra Jasper. It motivates us to move out of a state of apathy and into a state of action. It helps us avoid overthinking and encourages us to enjoy the experience of living. It helps us get in the moment, stay in the moment, and fully appreciate it. We could all use that now and again, especially me. I tend to overthink way too often. Lastly, for pile number 3, we have the Unakite Jasper. It's a very pretty, very vibrant and green stone. Is that right there? The Unakite Jasper soothes and balances the emotional body. It's good for lifting one's spirits and releases deep-seated emotions in a slow and gentle way. Something that's very nice, soothing, calming, but gets the really deep-rooted, nasty stuff that's just crammed in there right on out without just jerking it or breaking it or just being rough. So yeah. Please pick between one of the 3 here and we will begin. All right, let's do it. Hi there, pile 1. If you pick the red Jasper, then this read is for you. All right, now let's go over what the red Jasper means one more time. Red Jasper has the ability to create and help balance aggressive dynamic energy. It gives a sense of well-being and a state of calm. It absorbs negative energy. If you feel you have something overpowering you, something that you just can't shake, it's too heavy, it's too deep rooted, it is just seeded into you, and you can't get rid of it, you can't shake it, then this deck I feel is for you. So let's shuffle the cards and see what we pull. What negative forces are after pile 1? What negative energies are after pile 1 that we can identify so that we can then get rid of it? Give me pile 1's negative energies so that we can identify them. All right, here's our spread. We have the 7 of Wands in reverse. We have the 10 of Pentacles. And lastly, the Page of Cups in reverse. Now let's get the meanings of each of these one by one. The 7 of Wands. The 7 of Wands in reverse means perplexity, embarrassment, anxiety. So perhaps this has to do with the exact negative energy that is affecting you. Things like negative energy, something that's overwhelming, yet certainly not positive, and just will not go away.
Now, what other images do we have on here? We have, let's hope I pronounce this right, Glacia lablosa. No, that is not it. Glacia labolsa. I'm saying it so wrong. I'm moving the L over here for some reason. Glacia labolas. That sounds better. I hope that's a little closer. But we have a strange little creature here that looks to be a mix between a bird and a dog. And yep, definitely some demon in there. I can't deny that. We also have the number 25 right here. So I think that number is important. Now, what does this creature mean? Let's put this card back down and get right to it. Interesting. Now, this creature right here is capable of teaching men all of the arts and sciences in an instant, and also is an author of bloodshed and manslaughter. Not someone you want to have the power of teaching all the arts and sciences in an instant to anyone. So perhaps what this is suggesting, because it's in reverse and not upright, that instead of this affecting you specifically, it's affecting someone else. It's gotten someone else that's in your life and it's infected them with this knowledge that they should not have, and they are using it wrong. And they, not only that, but they're using it specifically against you. All right, now let's look at the 10 of Pentacles. The 10 of Pentacles means gain, riches, family matters, archives, extraction, the abode of a family. Now, this read is specifically talking about negative forces, so I have the feeling that the gain, riches, family matters here is not a positive thing. I think that perhaps it's your family that, or someone in your family specifically, that is being affected by the 7 of Wands here, and is therefore affecting your life. Let's get a closer look at this card. All right, Barbados understands the tongue of animals, uncovers treasures hidden by magicians, reconciles friends and enemies. All right, so maybe here we have a little bit of hope that this won't last forever and that it might even solve itself. But let's not get ahead of ourselves and get a little bit more information. All right, what does Barbados actually do? Who is he? What is he? Barbatos is the 8th spirit named among the list of 72 demons in the Lesser Key of Solomon. According to Grimoire tradition, he holds the rank of Duke and may appear when the sun is in the sign of Sagittarius. Very interesting. So that to me says that this person that has been affected and is therefore infecting your life is a Sagittarius. Or perhaps you have Sagittarius energy and that's why this person has attached to you to give you all of this hardship. All right, now let's get to the Page of Cups in reverse. The Page of Cups reversed means taste inclination, attachment, seduction, deception, artifice, which again pulls into this fact that we are looking at negative energies right now and not much of the positive at the moment. We will get there though. But this makes me think that the specific issues that these two are referring to, the person that has these negative feelings and this knowledge that they shouldn't have, that is possibly part of your family, possibly Sagittarius if you aren't the Sagittarius yourself, well, they are either doing for sure some sort of deception that is based off an attachment that they have. So they have something in them right now that they have a knowledge of and they have feelings towards this thing. And instead of coming to you and just asking you about it, they are taking it out on you. Now, what can you do about this? Is there anything to do about this? Can you get help? What can we do? Okay, we are going to get to that right now. All right, now let's pull from these big boy cards. These cards right here are, one, huge. They're just huge. Look at them compared to, like, oh my goodness. Even though these are smaller than regular tarot cards, but still. Anyway, these cards are from the Hollow Woods. And they are interesting because what you do is you put 3 side by side by side and make a story out of the pictures that are formed. But every single picture in this deck can fit together seamlessly. It's really incredible. All right, let's shuffle these cards as best as I can, which is not going to be good, while asking what negative energies are after pile 1. Give us a story of the history of this energy. How did it begin? How is it now? And how is it going to go? This way we can just kind of get a base of everything going on before we go into the solutions. Because you can't just run into battle blind. You need to have a strategy first. Okay, here we go. Put that deck over here. Now then, what do we have here? We have a woman that is shrouded in a cloak and standing very, very still with her head slightly knelt forward. And what's really interesting is in the background here, I'll hold the card up so you can see a little better. We have what looks like this mysterious fairy-like figure kind of watching her in the background. So this makes me think that this is representing you, and this is representing that family member watching you and trying to get that information that they're going to use against you. Because it's really blurry, really kind of like hidden away, I think that they were doing this in secret, and perhaps even their intentions themselves weren't clear at the time. However, they were still listening and they were still watching, which is not good without your permission. All right, now what do we have here? We have something that looks very scary on the surface. It's quite specifically a Grim Reaper that's holding his hand like, come here. It's like, oh no, I don't want to. And behind him, we have this very like whimsical dream like smoke just kind of wafting out from the top and from the bottom as well. So it really gives this eerie presence that's just jumping out of nowhere. So how does that connect to our first card? So here we have you, of course, you being watched. And then right here we have a trail, right? And then right around the corner, we have this scary Grim Reaper. You know what? I just realized something. This is not just a woman. Look here. There's a base. A base. She's a statue. Okay. So that does not make me think that it does not represent you. However, it does make me think that this means you have been steadfast, you have been solid, you have been you. You have been your representation of you and everything of you, and you haven't been holding back, but that's being used against you. All right, and then we come around the corner here yet again, and then we see this scary Grim Reaper. Now, what does that represent? Do I think it means a literal death? No, I do not think that. What I do think, however, is that this person's intentions, while they might not have been outright out to get you, while they were listening, they weren't like, okay, here's my methodical plan. However, they will take it to the very end. This information that they have against you, they aren't going to hold back. They are going to go all the stops and try to use it against you. And then we come around into this very thick woods. And here you see we have another shadowy figure that is just kind of right around the corner, but we can't see him yet. And this makes me think that because this is a masculine form compared to our first story card being a feminine form watching, this makes me think that this is possibly someone else and is also going to be in the future coming after you in some sort of way with negative intentions. But fortunately, if we know that they're coming, we can defend against them and protect ourselves. So let's look into our next set of cards to try to start to figure out how to do that. Okay, so we still have a little bit of negative to go through before we get to the positive stuff. Our last negative card that we're going to look through is from the Conjure cards. Now, the Conjure cards are going to help us find the intentions of this negative force. Like, what's their goal? Like, what are they after? What are they trying to do? And why am I shuffling so poorly still? Why have I not gotten better? All these cards are different shapes, so I gotta practice with every single one of them to get better. All right. What are pile ones? What the negative force that is after pile one? What is their intention? What is their goal? What are they trying to do to pile one? All right, one more shuffle for good luck. Can we fix these cards a little bit? All right, here we go. Oh, wow, 2 10s in a row. And then a 9. Okay, now we're counting down. All right, let's put this deck back right here. Okay. Now, these cards seem like they're based off playing cards, which they are, but they do have deeper meaning behind them. Let's get started with the 10 of Hearts, and we'll be looking at my Conjure Cards book to see what it means. In old Appalachia, the fireplace was the center of the home, sometimes due to enjoyment, other times out of necessity. Many houses were one-room homes, so whatever room the fireplace was in was the only room. If there was one more room, folks would still congregate into the main room because the fireplace didn't heat up the whole house, but that one room in the cold mountain winters. The 10 of Hearts speaks of happy times and pleasures with family and friends. This is as good as it gets, but knock on wood, too much of a good thing can be bad. This fire can warm you or burn your house down. And I think that right there is especially important. I'm going to say that again. This is as good as it gets, but knock on wood, too much of a good thing can be bad. This fire can warm you or burn your house down. And why I think that is important is because it relates to the card that we got here underneath it. Let's see if I can pronounce it somewhat correct. Galacia Labolas. And who can give knowledge at just like that, at the snap of the fingers, bam, all the knowledge of the science and arts. So, but that isn't necessarily a good thing to have all that knowledge, all that power, without having behind it the backing of studying it, of putting yourself into it, learning the consequences of it. And so that's what I think it's really relating to here in the 10 of Hearts. All right, now let's get to the 10 of Clubs. According to my little book, the 10 of Clubs represents this. Throughout the southern Appalachian hills, 3 crosses deck the hillsides next to billboards, advertising ginseng, car insurance, and church messages such as hell is real. The folks of the Appalachia have long looked to Calvary for their salvation from poverty, pain, and illness. Just like everything was completed on Calvary, the 10 of Clubs shows the completion of plans or events coming to a close. They show good things to come after a long period of hard
hard work and bearing your cross. It is a spiritual pat on the back. So what this tells me is that right now, what you're going through is not in vain. You haven't been suffering for nothing. You are going to take from this, you're going to learn from it, and you're going to gain skills that you need to be able to combat even worse energies in the future. And now we have the 9 of clubs. The 9 of clubs means reap what you sow. It's a phrase echoed all throughout these hills, from jail cells to church pews. Its meaning is literal here, much like the black lung epidemic that ranges in many folks. That is the harvest they ended up with after many years of mining coal. Coal mining. Well, I guess both works. Anyway, the coal companies were very prosperous for a while before things turned sour and they abandoned the town and ravaged mountains. Upright, the 9 of clubs shows a good reaping, some good for your efforts, which is great because this is telling us that after everything you've gone through, just like with the 10 of clubs, you're going to gain something from it. It's not going to be, oh, you just went through this because life sucks. No, you need to learn this lesson. You need to gain these tools that you need to be able to handle even worse struggles that are coming in the future. But not to worry, because you're going to be way more prepared. So even if things are worse than what they were originally or what they are right now, you're going to handle it so much better, with so much more courage, with so much more confidence and tenacity, because you know what's happening and you know what to do about it. All right, that's it for our conjure cards. The next deck we're going to look into is this one right here. It is the, I hope I pronounce this right. This video is just going to be botched, full of mispronunciations. This is the Angelarium deck, and it is a deck of angels. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to shuffle the deck, and we're going to find out what spirit guides are out there that are going to help you get through this. And after that, we're going to look at this deck right here, the Wisdom of the House of Night, to find out how you can connect to this spirit to be able to learn what to do about this problem and conquer it, to solve it, to get rid of this negative energy. All right, let's do it. What will help pile 1, or rather, who will help pile 1 defeat this negative energy? Who will help pile 1 defeat this negative energy? All right. Let's see who we pull here. Zachriel, Angel of Memory. Interesting. All right, let me pull this one up so you can see it a little better. There we go. Very beautiful card. Very soft colors. All right. Now, what does this angel represent? Who is he, she, or they? And how are they going to help you? Let's find out. Okay, so Zachriel is an angel that is one of the archangels who leads souls to judgment, and also is an angel who is about fulfilling your life's purpose with as much love and integrity as possible. And speaking specifically of integrity, I think that's important here, because I think that this is to teach you this negative energy, this that you're going through. Again, it's not for naught. There is a reason, and it is because this is something you need to learn to build up yourself, to gain the confidence you need to speak your piece, say your mind, but not to overthink, not to overreact, but to maybe perhaps be like your enemy here that is watching you, and to also watch, see how they do, and then respond appropriately, not with malice or ill intent or revenge or anything like that, but with love and consideration and keeping the integrity of your character intact. All right, now we have one more deck to look through.
And that here is Wisdom of the House of Night Oracle cards. And this will give us some insight as to how to connect to your spirit guide here, Zachariel, the angel of memory, to be able to finally conquer this dark energy. What wisdom can you give pile 1 so that they can conquer this dark energy with the help of Zachariel? Oops. All right, let's see what we pull. Love. I'm going to pull one more card. Success. All right. So yes, I definitely think that you are going to be using love in this, in your, I suppose you could say in your tool belt, or rather in your weapons that you use to defend yourself. You are not going to be using a knife or a blade to stab someone in the back like they've stabbed you in the back. No, you are going to respond with love, and that is going to help keep the integrity of your character, to help you with future problems, and so that people know who you are, what you're about, and that they can't mess with you. I also see that the number 10 is here, so perhaps that has a significance and is important, especially since we've gotten 10 so many times with both the 10 of hearts and the 10 of clubs. That's 3 10s so far. All right, next we have success. This really makes me think that you are going to be successful in this attempt to connect with this spirit guide and to be able to get rid of this dark energy that's around you right now. We have an image here of a congratulatory, not envelope, I was about to say envelope, document. A congratulatory document that's letting you know that you have not only accomplished your goal, but you've accomplished it with something to back it up. Again, bringing back to this integrity and keeping your character intact. No matter how much people attack you, no matter what onslaught they bring upon you, you are going to respond with grace. And all right, let's see. I think, you know what? We do have one more thing to do. Let's roll some dice to get, even though we have obviously the number 10, we have a 9 here and 39. Let's roll some dice to get one more number. All right. Roll the dice. 5. All right, we have a 5 here. So let's see, 5, which, if you double 5, you get 10. So again, I think that this number is very important to keep in mind. It could really come about in anything, the smallest form. But if there is a point where you are just like, I don't know whether to pick between A and B, if the number 10 is surrounding one of those choices, I would suggest going for that. And I think that really wraps up our reading for today. Thank you so much, Pile 1, all my red Jaspers here. I hope this reading helped you in some way and that you find it to help you. Yes, my words, they are failing me. I hope you enjoyed the reading, and I hope you have a great and pleasant day. Bye. Hello, Pile 2. If you picked the Zebra Jasper, then this read is for you. All right, let's get started by pulling 3 cards from our cult deck. Now we will be asking, what negative energies are after Pile 2? What negative energies right now are after Pile 2? One more shuffle for good luck. Ooh, getting the cards all lined up. Ooh. Ooh, hello. All right. Oh, all right. Now, one more card. Okay. set these down right here. Okay, here we go. We have first the Empress, represented by Grimory. Then we have the World, represented by, let's see that up forward, Vapula. And then we have the Six of Wands, represented by Murmur. All right. Now, let's look into what the cards mean, as well as what the monsters, or rather demons, that represent them also mean, plus what the little descriptions are on the cards to kind of tie it all together and really get a good feel of what this negative energy is. Plus, we have a ton of oracle cards to go through to really hammer down the specifics, as well as find out what spirit guide will help you get over this issue, get rid of this negative energy, and how, in addition, to connect to this spirit to be able to solve this problem and be better for it in the end. All right, let's get started. First, we have the Empress. The Empress represents fruitfulness, initiative, action, long days, clandestine, the unknown, difficulty, doubt, ignorance. This almost makes me think that this negative energy is perhaps not another force acting upon you, but maybe it's you yourself that are right now facing doubt and the unknown, long days, and you want to, at the same time, to have that answer, to know what you're going for, but you just haven't been able to find it yet. You're still on your camel traveling and you can't see where the desert ends. What we also have here written on the card: procures the love of a woman of any age, tells where treasures are hidden, tells of the past, present, and future. Interesting. So this almost makes me think of what you're being tempted with. It could be trying to find a lover, someone that you're trying to get to, that you have a crush, whether man or woman, or they or them, or whatever else in between. And that might be one of your problems right now, because it could be affecting your relationship with this person if they've denied your advances in the past. This also says, tells where treasures are hidden. That could be, again, with love, that you're trying to find that gem, that perfect someone, but it just hasn't worked out for you yet, and it's really affecting you negatively. And then we have tells of the past, present, and future. Again, those clear-cut answers of what has happened, this is what's happening, and this is what will happen in the future. But hopefully we can find some of those answers here today. Next, we have the World. Now, what does the World mean? Specifically, the World in reverse. Now, the World in reverse means inertia, fixity, stagnation, permanence. Yes, this goes back to the Empress here, where you are at that desert and you do not see the end. You are stuck and you are just not getting that progress that you want, and it is bothering you. Let's see what it says specifically here on the card. It says, makes one skilled in labor and crafts, increases knowledge of philosophy and science. This makes me think of what you would need to perhaps help you to gain a skill in a new trade or labor, and to increase your knowledge in either philosophy or science. So gaining a new skill might be what you need to, one, release your mind of this problem that's really weighing you down, and to let you kind of let it float into your subconscious so that you can breathe and actually move forward. Because right now you are struggling to move. You are chained down, and fighting it is just wearing you out. You need to stop. Even though it feels like you're already stopped, you just need to calm down, take a breath, and let things ride out for a little bit. But don't just be stagnant. Don't just sit there. Try to learn something. Try to really put your mind to work and gain a new sort of skill, no matter how small it may be. It could be perhaps drawing something specifically, learning how to draw a new face, a portrait. Learning how to write a haiku, learning how to do a paint job on, let's say, something as simple as a cabinet that you want to just give it a nice trim to the edges. Anything that could be something that just kind of lets you mindlessly drone on so that you can give yourself a break while still not being totally inactive. All right. Let's turn that back around. Next, we have the Six of Wands. Now, what does the Six of Wands represent? The Six of Wands is, oh, wait. I almost went off with what it actually meant when we don't have what it actually means here. We have the reverse. So the Six of Wands in reverse means apprehension, fear, as of a victorious enemy at the gate, treachery, disloyalty, as of gates being open to the enemy. Oof, this is a really harsh read, but that's the way I think you're feeling right now. You're feeling as though you are in the Colosseum and the gates with the lions, the hungry, hungry lions are opening up wide and you're just having to sit there with nowhere to go and watch. So I can see why it can be very hard to be calm right now or to even distract yourself because it feels like this problem is everything, that you have to put your entire focus in it or it's just going to destroy you. I mean, who wouldn't feel that way staring at hungry lions just behind the opening gates? So now that we have this basic read here, let's pull more cards from the stacks around to be able to properly identify this problem a little more specifically, as well as find someone to help you solve it and how to connect to that person so that you can get some solace here and get rid of this negative energy. All right, we will be using the Hollow Woods deck here. And now this deck is really interesting because it's a continuous one where you can put them side by side and make a story. And it makes very beautiful pieces. And what you're supposed to do is put at least 3 pieces side by side and figure out what it's trying to say based on the pictures depicted. So what we're going to do is we're going to shuffle the deck as best as we can because these cards are like thick cards. And we're going to see what will help pile 2, or rather give us the layout of the negative energy that's surrounding pile 2. We have a basis. Give us a more specific past, present, and future of this problem that's going on. All right, one more shuffle. It is not easy, but I will get better. All right, first card. Ooh, a dragon. Second card. And our third card. All right, let me get these spread out a little bit. Okay. So here is our story. First, we have this ferocious dragon that is just pelting out these flames and smoke. And he is not happy, not in the least bit. So that makes me think that this problem at hand is very passionate, and rather to you, you are very passionate about it and you are fiery about it and you really want to get this solved, but it is just baking you. It is cooking you alive. All right. Next, we have what looks to be a woman sleeping in a thicket in the woods. She looks very peaceful and not at all afraid that she's asleep in the woods. There is nothing to protect her. And perhaps this is how you feel right now. You do not feel peaceful, but you do feel like you are forced to be in this state where you are unsafe, but this is your relaxed state. Your relaxed state is being unsafe, where this is just what you're used to. Even though it eats you up, this is the norm, and that is not good. We are going to change that, hopefully, by finding you a spirit guide that is going to help you solve this and finding a way to connect to that spirit guide. All right. Now for the third card, we have what looks to be some very twisty old building structures that have long since been worn down, overgrown with moss. There's a secret little like dungeon pathway down here that's very ominous. So what does that mean in terms of our story? Well, let's start from the beginning. First, we have the problem at hand, which is rather how you feel about the problem at hand, which is that you feel very strongly, very passionately, very fierily, very vibrant about this issue. Whoops. And, at the same time, it's eating you alive and it is cooking you alive. Meanwhile, this is your norm. This is just how things are. You are practically just resting in the woods at night with no protection because that's just, you have no choice. You are like in the Colosseum with those lions. Like you have nowhere to run. You can't run into the seats. They're too high up for you to climb up. That's to protect all the people away from the lions. So then you have all these windy, twisty paths, all this decay. What could that mean? Perhaps there will be some sort of hideaway for you, some safety, some place of safety, some cave, some dwelling, something similar to a man cave where it's your private space that you can dive away into to learn that skill, to learn that trade, to focus on something else that will help you release the steam that's coming out from these nostrils here from this dragon and just all around. And finally be able to rest without being out in the open, being protected like you should be. And yes, that's what I think this is saying here. All right. Now, the next set of cards can be a bit scary. They are called the Conjure cards, and they're designed similar to playing cards, but they all have specific meanings. Now, what are these negative forces, these negative energies? What are their intentions with pile 2? What are the intentions of these negative energies? Whoops, with pile 2. All right. Let's pull 3 cards. Okay. Whoops. All right. We have the 8 of clubs, the 5 of hearts, and the Ace of diamonds. Now, what do these mean? Well, we have this little booklet here that goes over it all. So I will look up each and let you know. So first we have the 8 of clubs. Oh no, I just came to a realization. I am dumb. This is not clubs. This is spades. Oh my God, I am an idiot. Let me look up what the Ace of Spades represents. Oh my goodness. Okay. Backtracking a bit, the 8 of Spades. Old tales say that if you sleep in a strange bed, what you dream will come true. Likewise, the saying is, you made your bed and you'll have to lie in it. This card says exactly that, specifically in regards to bad habits, high tempers or shouting, alcoholism, and other addictions. This card shows that whatever follows is set to happen unless ways are changed. The bed is made. This can be in regards to an addiction or simply how the situation will play out. All right, so I don't think this changes our read too much. I think this is a warning that the way you are acting right now, you are still causing your own issues. And it is not an outside force that is doing this, but rather your interpretation of the world and how it affects you. It is also warning you that if you don't change your ways, then it's set in stone. Like, this is just going to keep happening to you. It's a repetitive issue. It's not going to be solved. This is going to be a seed that is not going to grow into something fruitful, but rather something rotten. All right, the Five of Hearts. Known as the Little Chapel, this card is represented by a stained glass church window. Growing up in a Southern Free Will Baptist church, I've always had a deep love for those windows and the artwork of sunlight created by them. To dream of being in a church signifies a wedding or marriage. Likewise, to dream of seeing praying hands is a sign of fertility. Therefore, the Five of Hearts foretells a marriage, and with the Jack of Hearts, a baby. Well, we don't have the Jack of Hearts here, but let's pull one more card just to see if we do happen to get it. Is there a baby with this possibly love issue that is going on with pile 2's life? Oops. One more time. Is there a baby involved? Someday I'll do this without making a mess. The Ten of Hearts. There is not. All right. That answers that quite specifically. Now then, what does this all mean? Well, I think what this is actually saying is that it's confirming that this is a love issue, that this is possibly a crush that you have that has not met to fruition, that has not had any luck with being reciprocated, and it is tearing you apart. But this card does foretell marriage. But at the same time, that might be what's haunting you. What you might want is a marriage, and you're not getting it. And that's why we're seeing it here in the Conjure card. Well, my memory card got full, so I chatted a little bit without realizing. However, I know exactly what I said, so I shall repeat myself now. The Five of Hearts here does foretell marriage. However, I think instead of saying that that's your future, what it's saying here is that that's what's tearing you up inside, that you want to have this marriage, this union, and there is just no progress on it so far. All right, now we have the Ace of Diamonds. Let's look that one up. The Ace of Diamonds, a happy card. The Ace of Diamonds denotes a marriage when paired with the 2 or 10 of Hearts. Now, we don't have the 2 or 10 of Hearts, unfortunately. We have the 5 of Hearts. All right. Now, otherwise, the golden rings tell of a change in luck and good news. Okay. So far, we have no luck with marriage, but there is good news coming. Even though you've gone through so much, you've felt so much, and you've just been overburdened, it's just been way too much. It's been too heavy on your shoulders. It's going to get better soon. It's going to lighten up. All right. Now that we have the bad out of the way, let's pull out from the I'm going to mess up my words again. Angelarium, the Angelarium deck, to see what spirit guide is going to help you through this situation. Spirit guides, which one of you is going to help pile 2 through this situation? What spirit guide is going to help pile 2? And we have Hasmed or Hasmeed. The angel of annihilation. Whoa, you have a strong angel here that is going to be backing your corner. Someone very powerful that is not only going to help you, but is going to annihilate the enemy. They are going to take them out. They are going to be your strong warrior. Now, let's look at what this specific angel represents aside from annihilation. All right. So this angel is a seraphim and a destroying angel, which we get from the angel of annihilation here, that God first created after the true archangels in heaven itself. He was created as one of the angels of divine punishment against all those who mock God and his kingdom. All right, so that makes me think that even if you haven't had luck with this crush, this love, that you have this spirit guide by your side that is going to get your back. And not only that, but I'm sure they have an even better person in store for you that you don't currently have the room for because you're harping over this one specific person. All right, now let's look at the wisdom of the House of Night cards right here to find out how you can connect to this spirit guide to be able to solve this problem, this negative energy. How can pile 2 connect to their spirit guide to get rid of this negative energy? We have the High Priestess of Air and Loyalty. Okay. All right. We also have the number 6 right here. I know it's a bit hard to see. All right. Now let's first look at the High Priestess of Air, and denoted by the number 6. And look at this beautiful moon cresting her head. We also have a nice little feather and these swirl details. All right. Now, I think the element of air is important here, especially when thinking of an angel of spirit, something to lift someone's wings. Let's look up at what the High Priestess of Air specifically represents. The High Priestess of Air means to think before you act. You are blessed with a wondrous mind and imagination. All right, so this makes a lot of sense. She is also a symbol of divine knowledge. What this means is that you have been overthinking, not underthinking, but overthinking, and you need to slow it down and take it step 1, 2, 3, not A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, and so on and so forth. You don't need to go through a whole song, a whole ballad. You just need to do simple step 1, 2, and 3. You need to find that moment to get yourself a breather and to really think through this situation. Is this what's best for me? Is this what's best for the person that's on my mind? Maybe it's not best for either of us, and that there's someone else that could be even better. That would be healthy for not only you, but for them. Maybe they're waiting on you, but you haven't been able to answer them because you've been so strung up on this other person. Now, what we have here is loyalty with the number 33. And that's really funny because 3 plus 3 is 6. And we have 6 here with the High Priestess of Air. Now, what's also interesting on top of that is we have a moon, just like in our High Priestess of Air, on the forehead. So I think that the crescent moon is going to be very important. And perhaps let's look at what phase of the moon that is.
Both of them are specifically representing a waxing crescent. So perhaps that will be a very important time to pay attention to when that day comes, when there's a waxing crescent. That's your time to make a move, to really go for it. And remember that no matter what, even if you still aren't going after this same person that's been on your mind, that does not mean you aren't loyal to them. That does not mean you can't be a friend to them. That does not mean you can't care for them or even love them, even if it's only platonic. And I really hope that encourages you and helps you out. Let's roll some dice to get one final number to pay attention to. All right. Roll. 2. We have the number 2 here. Now, let's see. I would suggest to keep the number 2 in mind. If there is something, specifically 2 and 6, if there is something where you just cannot decide between 1 to 3 plus different options, look for these numbers. And if they are hanging around one or the other, that is likely the thing for you. To try not to overthink, to just put things logically in step 1, 2, and 3 and go from there. And also, do not forget to breathe. You are not facing the lions that are about to eat you in the Colosseum. You are going to be a strong spirit that is a courageous warrior that is going to fight whatever comes your way. However, remember to be kind and to be considerate. Even if the person on your mind hasn't been considerate to you, be the person that you want in return. And all right, that's my advice for you, Pile 2. I hope you enjoyed this reading and that you found something helpful from it. And I hope you come watch again in the future. All right, bye. Hello, Pile 3. If you picked the Unakite Jasper, then this read is for you. Okay, so to recap, the Unakite Jasper soothes and balances the emotional body. It's good for lifting one's spirits and to release deep-seated emotions in a slow and gentle way. Something we could all use more than just now and then, more likely than not. All right, now that we have that, let's put our little stone away and let's ask, what are the negative energies that are coming after Pile 3? What negative energies are coming after Pile 3? All right. Okay, we have our 3 cards here. First, we have the Emperor in reverse. Then we have the 6 of Wands. Then we have the Fool. All right, now let's go into what each of these cards means. First, let's look at the Emperor. Before we go into the details of the tarot aspect, let's first go into the demon aspect. Right here, we have Baal. Says controls the weather, rain and lightning, curses and causes pestilence, excuse me. Oh my goodness, that is not a good one. That is a rough one to have. All right, now we have that in reverse. But what does that demon mean itself, aside from what the card tells us? Baal is one of the 7 princes in hell in Christian demonology. He is mentioned widely in the Old Testament as the primary pagan idol of the Phoenicians, often associated with the heathen goddess Ashtaroth. His name is a Northwest Semitic word and title meaning master or lord, which is used for various gods, including Hadad, who were patrons of cities in the Levant and Asia Minor. I'm saying so many words that are just like, for me, tongue twisters that shouldn't be, but definitely are. Or maybe they should be. I don't know. Anyway, what is also interesting is that in the Hebrew Bible, it refers to, or it is translated in the context of false God. So perhaps this dark energy, this negative energy that is after you right now is presenting itself as something positive, but is in fact something negative. All right. Now let's get into what the Emperor in reverse specifically means. The Emperor in reverse means benevolence, compassion, credit, also confusion to enemies, obstruction, immaturity. This makes me think that your problem at hand is one that is both immature and one that doesn't really make much sense. It is lacking depth. It's very childish, very prankster oriented. Now let's move over to the Six of Wands represented by Murmur. Let's take a closer look at this card. We have what looks like a person riding on top of a griffin that is playing an instrument and also carrying a scroll. And beneath it, it says, teaches philosophy perfectly, brings souls back from the dead to answer questions. All right, interesting. Now, let's look up what murmur specifically means in demonology. Murmur is depicted as a soldier riding a vulture or a griffin and wearing a ducal crown. Ducal crown? I've never heard of that before. Interesting. Two of his minotaurs. My goodness, I was just talking about this. Please forgive me for jumbling my words. I will get better over time when I'm less nervous in front of the camera. All right. Two of his ministers go before him making the sounds of trumpets. Murmur is a master necromancer who is able to revive and control the dead along with their souls. So this makes me think that this dark, this negative energy that is after you is something that, even though it's lighthearted, it's prankster energy, it's playful, it has gotten its claws into you. It is loud, it is parading around, and it is going after you non-stop. You do not like it. All right, now let's talk about what the Six of Wands specifically means. The Six of Wands depicts great news, such as might be carried in the state by the king's courier. It is expectation crowned with its own desire, the crown of hope. So perhaps again, this teasing energy that's after you is giving you hope, is giving you this sense of there could be this or there could be more. And then it turns out not to be true and you are let down again and again. And that is currently your present. That is what you are stuck in right now. All right. Now let's look to the last card. We have the Fool represented by Cameo. And the card says, gives understanding of animals in the voice of the waters and answers of things to come. Interesting, especially with that being our future, answers of things to come. Perhaps that's just going right back to this energy of, oh, I'm goading you. Oh, there's things to come. Sure, you got to just keep listening, keep going along with it. It's just going to keep taunting you and going after you. Now to look into what Cameo is in demonology. Cameo is a Gaelic referring or rendering of the biblical Cain, who appears in various variations of the fantastical pedigree of Dardanus of Troy that is spun out of Libor Bernoch, the Middle Irish language recension of the oh my goodness, big words, no! Compilation called Historia Bretonum, known in the 9th century version by Nennius. Okay, that does not tell me much, except for that it is from the rendering of the biblical Cain, which leads me to, again, believe that this is not a good spirit. This is not
going to give you answers that you want. It is just going to tease them, taunt them, and does not have good intentions for your benefit. Their intentions are for their own benefit, just like Cain in the Bible, who killed his brother Abel because he was jealous of him. He wanted to give more to God. He wanted to be the number one. And that is the energy of this negative thing, this force, this daunting, just overbearing weight that is on you right now. All right, now that we have that laid out, let's pull 3 cards from the Hollow Woods deck, which is a deck that is a storytelling deck where there are no words, but you put 3 cards side by side at minimum, and you're able to make a story from it. And what we want from these cards is to get an idea of the general past, present, and future regarding the situation with this negative energy. All right. Tell pile 3, what is the past, present, and future to do with this negative energy that is after them and currently plaguing them? Okay. First, we have depicted here a woman that is sleeping beneath a tree. However, she is clearly not in a place that is safe, but she feels calm. She feels relaxed. She feels at home. And that is not a healthy thing to feel when you are genuinely in a place that is not safe for you and where anything could come after you. So I almost wonder if this is you not thinking much of the problem, where yes, it bothers you, but it's just light stuff. It's just stuff that kind of bothers me. It's no big deal, but it is a big deal. And it's something that shouldn't be let to continue to go on. All right. Now in the middle, we have what looks like a goblin that is staring at his reflection in a mirror. And while he is kind of frowning and looking distraught, his reflection is actually smiling back at him, kind of eerily. So this makes me think of, this is how you are trying to portray yourself to everyone else about how the problem is treating you, but this is how you actually feel. You're showing the world this false image, and you are keeping back from everyone how it actually affects you because you're worried about what they think or how they might take. Like, oh, you're just a baby, or it's not that bad. But you shouldn't have to portray this false image of yourself. You shouldn't feel the need to. And if you do continue along this path, we have death here. Not, you are literally going to die. No, that is not what this is saying at all. This is saying this is the death of your ego, but not in the positive way where you're giving up your carnal desires for something greater. This is the death of the ego in the way that it is you losing yourself and who you are to give to other people who are just going to eat you alive. See, we have this raven here, or perhaps it's a crow. Either way, it is eating you. It is going to be using whatever bit of sustenance you have left. And if there's no meat left on your bones, it's going to use you as a perch. And I think you should take that to heart and know that this problem is going to itch and scratch and just claw at you until there is nothing left of you. So let's not let that happen. Please, I beg of you, I want the best for all of you. All right. So now that we have our basis here of the past, present, and future, let's pull up some conjure cards right here. And these cards are similar to playing cards, but they each have a specific meaning that is told about in this little book that I will use to give my interpretation. And now what we are using these cards for specifically is to find out what intention this negative energy has with you. Like, let's find some specifics of, yes, we know it's like a prankster energy, but why? Why is it doing this that it's doing? All right. What is pile 3's? No, that's not the right way to word this. Why is this negative energy after pile 3? What is the intention? What is the motivation behind this negative energy that is after pile 3? Oh, that was a terrible one. Let's do one more shuffle. All right, there we go. Now we will pull 3 cards. Oh, we pulled that one last time. Okie dokie. Put that back right there. And here is our spread. We have the 8 of spades, the 6 of hearts, and the 4 of clubs. Now, let's look into what each of these mean. The 8 of clubs in our little conjure book. Ooh, got a hiccup right there. Sometimes I just have one single hiccup and that's it. I can't explain it, but I guess it's nothing to complain about. All right, the 8 of spades. Old tales say that if you sleep in a strange bed, what you dream will come true. Likewise, the saying is, you made your bed and you'll have to lie in it. This card says exactly that, specifically in regards to bad habits, high tempers, or shouting, alcoholism, and other addictions. This card shows that whatever follows is set to happen unless the ways are changed. The bed is made. This can be in regards to an addiction or simply how a situation will play out. Oh, all right. So pile 3, we need to keep in mind that if we keep on the path that we are with just letting these things happen, letting things slide, your bed is made and you're going to be just stuck dealing with that forever. And we do not want that. But that is, this force that is after you is not one that's just going to go away. Even if it's light, even if it's not that heavy, it's still going to always be there, always be looming around. And we don't want that. So later we will find how to take care of that. But first, let's go a little bit more into the intentions of this beast at hand. We have next the 6 of hearts. The 6 of hearts, a very lucky card. It speaks of loyalty and long-term proposals. Based on this position in a reading, this can show a marriage proposal, business idea, or some other commitment that needs loyalty in order to come to fruition. Interesting. So, unfortunately, well, if this was a reading about love, this would be a very positive card. But this reading, specifically pulling for these 3 cards, is about negative intentions. And so, because of that, when I read here that it says the card speaks of loyalty and long-term proposals, I think that is just going back here to where we were forewarned that this is just going to continue. This is going to go on. It's a long-term game and it's not just going to go away. You are going to need to do something about it before anything gets done about it, or they will take you for everything you have and more. All right, now let's go to the 4 of clubs. The 4 of clubs. Much like a farmer ready to plant, the 4 of clubs shows that the ground is ready for what you're planting or planning for the future. The work has been done and now we wait for fruit. However, stay with the upkeep. Nasty weeds can pop up to smother your crops if you don't stay on top of it. All right. This tells me that even if you do something about this problem, it is going to constantly keep coming back just like weeds do if you don't keep pulling them out as soon as you see them. If you don't, more and more are just going to spring up, and more of these little issues are going to continue to pile up on top of each other again and again and again. So this is something that, again, as it's been shouting out over and over, it is a long-lasting problem. It's a perpetual problem, but it's not one that can't be solved. There's no well, I don't know if I can actually solve that, but we can find a solution here. I am sure of it. All right, now let's go to our next set of cards to finally find some help here. We are going to use the blah, my words. I've messed this up for every single read. We are going to use the Angelarium deck, the Angelarium Oracle, to find out what spirit guide you need specifically to help you solve this problem and conquer it. All right. What spirit guide is going to help pile 3 solve this negative energy and get rid of it? It's hard to shuffle on top of other cards. All right. Let's see who we get. Tiferet, Heart and Beauty. All right. So pile 3, we have Tiferet here as your spirit guide that is going to help you out. Now, let's get a better look here. Oh, such beautiful artwork. All right, now let's talk about this angel, or rather the spirit guide. Tiferet wears a crown comprised of the fingers from many hands of Ein Sof, whose many efforts, excuse me, I am just terrible with reading today. All right, let me try that again. Tiferet wears a crown comprised of the fingers from the many hands of Ein Sof, whose many efforts goad existence from the dark. They scribble their will onto the face of Tiferet, forming the features and expression of creation. Tiferet knows love and justice from the great legs of Ein Sof, Guvara and Hesed, I hope I'm saying these right. Tiferet is intuitively present and steeped in wisdom by Bina and Chokrma. Knows glory in its cost by the balance of Netza and Had. All that is unseen by the face of Tiferet. As the Sepheret... all right, so... this tells me that this angel here, this spirit guide, is very powerful and you're very fortunate to have this one in your alley. They are both wise and intuitively present, which means they aren't lost in thought, lost in the past, or in the future. They hold wisdom and they have experience, but at the same time, they use it in the present to be active in the present, which means once you get a hold of this spirit guide, they're going to be here for you and stay here for you and actively be there for you. And that is very fortunate to have. Now, to find out how to connect to this spirit guide, we are going to pull from one final card deck right here. And these are Wisdom of the House of Night cards. These will tell us what you need to do to connect to this spirit guide. What does pile 3 need to do to connect with their spirit guide? What does pile number 3 need to do to connect to their spirit guide? Okay. Straighten these up just a tad. And then we pull our cards. All right. So on the left, the first card we have here is the Moon. And we have an adorable little kitty here with a waxing crescent on its forehead. And we also have the number 50. Perhaps the number 50 will be an important number, something to keep note of. And then we have the number 41, and the card is belonging, the House of Night. So what do these two cards mean? Together, I think that they mean that you will find this spirit guide and you will connect to this spirit guide when you find your sense of belonging, your sense of who you are, what you represent, and what you are about. And you need to be proud of that. You need to be confident in that and not be afraid of that. It's not being rude to be who you are if you are being genuine and if you're being empathetic to others and keeping in mind what other people perceive as well as your own. You just can't go wrong. Or at least it should be difficult to go wrong under those pretenses. And with the moon here, this makes me think that nighttime, especially with the House of Night, the nighttime will be the best time for you to try to connect to the spirit guide. And that if you were to do a ritual, a spell, a prayer, even something as simple as lighting a candle, focusing on its energies and just sort of breathing, being at peace, letting yourself feel roots grow from your feet and into the ground, connecting with the earth as well as what's above you, then the sky, the moon, and you will find yourself on the path to this spirit guide and connecting with them. All right, now let's roll some dice. I have some dice here to see one more number to pay attention to that'll help you out. All right, roll. 4. Okay, so we have 4, 8, another 4 here, 6, 50, and 41. That's 3 4s here, and yeah, so, and then this could lower down to 4. So I would definitely look for the number 4 when trying to make decisions if you can't choose between several things and there's a 4 or an 8, 50, or 41. I would suggest picking the one that is around that number. If there is something that has both those numbers related to it, then go with what has 4 or what can lower down to 4. And I think that'll help you out, or at least I hope so. That's my intention. And I hope you guys got something from this read, that it helped you in some way, shape, or form, even by the tiniest fraction. I hope you enjoyed, and we will be drawing this read fully to a close here. This was the last pile. Thank you so much for listening, for watching. I really appreciate it. I love doing this, and I hope I helped you out today. And I hope you have a great day. All right. Bye.